hakol. Ata kadosh kimcha kadosh. V'kadoshim b'chol yom yehallelu selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. You may be seated. We are now on page 172. You set aside the seventh day for your name, the pinnacle of creation, and you blessed it above all other times, more sacred than all festival times. So it is written in your Torah, the heaven and the earth were finished in all their array. On the seventh day, God had completed the work that had been done, ceasing then on the seventh day from all the work that God had done. Then God blessed the seventh day and made it holy, and ceased from all the creative work that God had chosen to do. Our God and God of our ancestors, be pleased with our rest. Sanctify us with your mitzvot, and grant us a share in your Torah. Satisfy us with your goodness, and gladden us with your salvation. Purify our hearts to serve you in truth. In your gracious love, Adonai, grant as our heritage your holy Shabbat, that Israel, who sanctifies your name, may rest on it. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh ha-Shabbat. On page 174, we are going to include the prayer for Rosh Chodesh, which is technically not till tomorrow night, but we're here tonight, so let's do it. Find favor, Adonai, our God, with your people Israel, and accept their prayer in love. May the worship of your people Israel always be acceptable. God, who is near to all who call, turn lovingly to your servants. Pour out your spirit upon us. Our God and God of our fathers and mothers, on this, the first day almost of the new month of Nisan, Passover's coming. Be mindful of us and your people Israel, for good, for love, for compassion, life, and peace. Remember us for well-being. Visit us with blessing. Help us to a fuller life. Let our eyes behold your loving return to Zion. Blessed are you, Adonai, whose presence returns to Zion. Baruch atah Adonai, hamachazir shechinato l'Tzion. We acknowledge with thanks that you are Adonai, our God, and God of our ancestors forever. You are the rock of our lives and the shield of our salvation in every generation. Let us thank you and praise you for our lives which are in your hand, for our souls which are in your care, for your miracles that we experience every day, and for your wondrous deeds and favors at every time of day, evening, morning, and noon. O good one whose mercies never end, O compassionate one whose kindness never fails, we forever put our hope in you. For all these things, O sovereign, let your name be forever praised and blessed. O God, our Redeemer and Helper, let all who live affirm you and praise your name in truth. Blessed are you, Adonai. Your name is goodness, and you are worthy of thanksgiving. Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha ulecha na'eh lehodot. Page 178. Shalom Ra, Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Shalom Yisrael Amcha, Tasim Leolam. Ki atah melech Adon, Chol ha-shalom. V'tov b'necha levarech et amcha Yisrael, b'chol eit u'chol sha'a, b'shlomecha. Shalom Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. Shalom Yisrael amcha, tasim leolam. Tasim leolam. Baruch atah Adonai hamevarech et amo Yisrael b'shalom. We take a moment now for silent prayer. You might use the words on pages 180 and 181, or the meditations of your own heart. You their song, Imre fi, Vehyon libi, lefanecha, Adonai, Suri, Adonai, Suri, Vegali, Vegali. May the words of our mouths and the meditations of our hearts be acceptable to you, Adonai, our rock and redeemer. We turn our thoughts now to those who are ill, injured, or recovering from surgeries and in need of prayers for healing. We have on our list Rosalind Cantu, Shelley Leon, Richard Blaylock, Nick Joliot, Erwin Marcus, Anita Ash, Steve Booker, Carol Janowski, Faye Chernin, Ann Jackson, Clinton Parks, Jane Drabkin, Ali Hogger, Kelly Deschamps, Gail O'Neill, Sandy Sandillo, and Susan Van Cott. If anyone else has a name they'd like to share at this time, please do so. The Misha Berach is on page 371, and we hold in our hearts all those in need of prayers, in need of healing for mind, body, and spirit. Misha Berach Avotenu Mekor HaBracha Ve'imotenu, the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishabed imotenu mekol la'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Shabbat Shalom. This week's Torah portion is Parashat Pekudei, in which we conclude the book of Exodus with the final descriptions of the finished Mishkan and the priestly vestments. At Torah study on Monday evening, we spent some time talking about the different approaches to religious art amongst different faith traditions, especially between Jews and Christians, and how that has influenced the architecture of our houses of worship over the generations. The Mishkan and the priestly vestments are described in thorough detail and are clearly ornate. They use dyes which would have been very expensive at the time. Fabrics which should have been just plain impossible for these newly freed nation of slaves to access in the desert. They use lots of gold and silver, and the breastplates of the priests are in particular studded with precious gems that are still very expensive to this day. There is a high value in creating a beautiful place for God to dwell, and an importance placed on how the priests are clothed for their sacred work. However, in last week's Parsha, there is an explicit call to cease donations once enough gifts have been brought to build the Mishkan and the priestly vestments according to God's directives. There is no interest from God or Moses to go above and beyond what was initially requested, even if the people are willing to bring it, to make these holy items even fancier. And there's no motivation for the artisans to keep accepting the gifts on the sly to line their own pockets. Today, there are some beautiful synagogues around the world, for sure, with ornate mosaic tiling, bright colors, gorgeous stained glass windows, crystal chandeliers, gold inlays, huge sanctuaries with balconies, and so on. But on the whole, Jewish communities have put more energy into creating the space so as to elevate prayer rather than to show off wealth or the power and talent of its members. Ner Shalom, for example, is quite modest. It does need some updates to its building, but think about how our high windows allow for a lovely stream of natural light for daytime services, and how the shape of our ceiling offers great acoustics. I won't go further into detail about some of our discussion in Torah study about the austerity of some houses of worship and the ostentation of others. I'm not here to judge anyone else's tastes or what elevates their prayers. But this conversation and concept resurfaced for me again this morning as I was exercising and thinking back on my trip last week to Yosemite National Park. We stayed in heated tents on a campground called Curry Village within the Yosemite Valley section of the park. It was just the right combination of rustic and comfortable for us not so experienced campers. Walking out of our tents and toward the lodge building, which housed a supply shop, a dining hall, and shower rooms, our view was immediately of a wall of majestic mountainside. Walking out of the campground on the other side toward the roadway to trailheads and overlooks, we were immediately entrenched in the forest. A short drive through these pine forests, and we arrived at trailheads that would take us up to breathtaking views. Not that we hiked any of the particularly difficult trails that would, in the highest mountains, but we got some decent summits. And yes, Philip was right that it was harder than I thought it was going to be, but it was fine. Or we took some trails into the groves of ancient giant sequoia trees. One night, we attended a Yosemite After Dark session, which walked us through a paved trail between another cabin-studded campground and a section of the pine forest. And we learned about the actual science behind forest bathing. I had heard of forest bathing before, and it certainly resonated with me as a mindfulness or spiritual practice. I get why being in nature is good for you. But I didn't know that trees actually release airborne chemicals called phytoncides, I think is how you pronounce that, phytoncides, that increase your body's lymphocytes, that word I do know, the cells that boost your immune system. So various pine trees are particularly high in phytoncides, and the ponderosa pine in Yosemite is one such species that releases a lot of these. So taking this time to sit in the darkness in the pine forest and focus on what we can still see in the dark. Our guide had us turn off all our flashlights and let our eyes adjust, as well as what we hear, smell, feel, and even the taste of the air. This practice was literally killing off bacteria and viral cells in our bodies. Incredible. Experiences like this give us little wonder at how many people feel closer to God in nature than in elegantly decorated houses of worship. In our adult B'nai Mitzvah class, we are currently reading The Art of Public Prayer, Not for Clergy Only, by Rabbi Lawrence Hoffman. And in the chapter we're currently on, Rabbi Hoffman says, some people find faith in flashes of eternity when nothing seems more certain than the radiant joy of life, like the glimpse of a sunset over the Grand Canyon or the moment of a child's miraculous birth. He goes on to explain that such people will often never come to worship services because they doubt they can find the Grand Canyon in their liturgies. A look at our holidays, how we rely on both lunar and solar calendars to mark our months and seasons, to celebrate seasonal change and agricultural rebirth, makes clear that Judaism absolutely has a naturalistic bend to it. In many ways, we are totally a land-based religion, even if more than half our world population no longer lives in the land that informs our holiday themes of seasonal shifts. But it's undeniable, based on this week's Torah portion, that physical buildings and decorative trappings to our places of worship have also always been important to our people. I think Ner Shalom strikes a good balance between these concepts and values. As I said, we have a great structurally sound building. While we do desperately need some refurbishments in and around our building and grounds, the lighting and acoustics, the basic architecture of our space is perfect. There's a reason our friends at Dar al-Nor wanted to bring their building committee to our property when they were planning their new education wing. It's mostly decorated with art by, or at least made specifically for, the community itself. And we have great outdoor space. The field on the hill and the wooded area behind our parking lot have offered so much for our Ganteva outdoor preschool since it opened in the fall of 2021. And even to our religious school students who have enjoyed playing outside together over the years. We are working on getting our accessibility boardwalk built so that everyone can enjoy the upper grounds. And we are starting a community garden on part of the upper grounds. We have our hiking meditation walk that meets on the second Saturday of every month, and hopefully we'll soon have a Rosh Chodesh group that will meet under the new moon each month for some indoor creative activity relating to the theme of the coming month, and some outdoor meditation activity enjoying the darkness of the new moon. I'm not sure any of that is enough to equal the physiological benefits of forest bathing, but I hope it's enough to find spiritual meaning in our various spaces and services and community engagement options. May we all find peace in our surroundings, comfort in our trappings, and spiritual elevation in our prayers. Amen and Shabbat Shalom. We turn now to our concluding prayers. I would like to call our Oneg family back up to open the Ark for Aleinu, which can be found on page 586. And I would like to invite everybody else to please rise in body or spirit before the open Ark. Sure. You think you'll fit? Got stuck in that arc once. Anyway, go ahead, open it. עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר לה' למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. You may be seated. Thank you. We turn our thoughts now to those who are no longer with us in body, but remain with us in spirit. This week marks a yahrzeit for Lois Ann Markowitz, Jaime Friedman, Leo Shapiro, Elizabeth Tobin, Lawrence Armand Grant, Kathleen Kavitsky, Rose Ray Levy. And we're still within the year of mourning for Wendy Labanow, Alan Goldstein, Rhoda Poblé, Mike Haug, Tom Murray, Burke Asher, Jesus Cantu, Mike Klimas, Wenda Monger, Elaine Perlstein, and Ira Dornfeld. And if anyone else has a name they'd like to share at this time, please do so. The Mourner's Kaddish is on page 598. Mourners and those who wish to join them may rise. Yitkadal, Yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Be'alman, Dira, Chirte, Be'amnich, Ma'akute, Be'chayefon, Uviomefon, Uchaye, Dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala, Ubizman, Kari, Be'imru, Amen. Yehe Shmei Rabbah, Mevarach, Le'olam, Le'al Mayad, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yithadar, V'yit'aleh, V'yithalal, Shemei D'Kudesha B'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Ta'amiran ve'alma v'imru Amen. Yehe Shlam Rabba min Shemaya, V'chayim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh Shalom b'mromav, Hu ya'aseh Shalom, alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. You may be seated. Oseh Shalom, Hu ya'aseh Shalom, alenu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru Amen. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya'aseh Shalom, Ya'aseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. V'imru. Couple of announcements before we conclude. Sunday, there is religious school in the morning and adult ed, B'nai Mitzvah class at 1 o'clock. Next week, Shabbat is a Saturday morning service rather than a Friday night, so we will gather at 10, those who wish to, for some informal singing, and then Shacharit will officially begin at 10:30. There is tentatively planned, I'm waiting for some RSVPs, but a mystery movie marathon for the youth group on Saturday following services. Lunch will be provided. So if you are a youth, including young adult, yeah, under, what do I normally say, under 25? But yeah, okay. Let me know. We continue to have Torah study on Zoom, Mondays at 7. Our drop-in hours here at the synagogue are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 4 to 6. I am also here for Thursday drop-in hours, but other board members are here, or other community members are here on Tuesdays for those drop-in hours. So if you need to meet with me, you have questions for the board, you want to just come hang out, you need a quiet space to do work, whatever, our space is open for you. I think that's it for this week. Yeah? What am I missing? Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi, for a wonderful service tonight. I'm specifically making sure I'm in front of the microphone because for the first time in a little under a year, the stream is working again. So that's really exciting. We have sound and we have visual. But to anybody who might be on the stream, even though we've been absent for a while, or might see this as a recording, the video is only able to be in one place. And the audio is not the best, but it can be heard and it can be seen, and we will continue to work on making that better. In addition, this Sunday we have a special membership meeting. It is at 7 p.m. Yes, 7 p.m. It's for one topic, so it shouldn't be a very long meeting. The topic is for incorporating Ner Shalom, which should help some of our processes transfer a little bit easier between people.
It's exclusively on Zoom or it's hybrid?
It's hybrid, yeah. So it will be in person. I will be here facilitating the meeting. Then we will have Cerulean and Walter, our admin sec, will be doing the Zoom from, I'm assuming, her house. But questions will be made sure that everybody can hear, whether in person or on Zoom. So, yeah. Oh, and information for the Zoom will be posted tomorrow night. Thank you.
Oh, and that also, speaking of posted soon, the details of our Passover Seder are like halfway on the website, but registration I don't think has opened yet to actually pay for tickets yet. But it's like 2 weeks away, it's really soon, so mark your calendars, start RSVPing if you know for sure you're gonna be here. And we will have the menu posted soon, and also, if it's not already, you will be able to pay on the website soon. Yeah. Just actually translate this one. What time is the thing tomorrow night? Okay. Okay. Okay, so just in case for everyone who may have heard that, there's a Trans Day of Visibility event hosted by the Conversations, which is a very Ner Shalom heavy organization, although not officially a Ner Shalom organization. But it is being hosted physically at Brew, at Bull Run Unitarian Universalist in Old Town Manassas. We think the event starts at 6. It does start at 6. You have to pre-register through their Give Butter account, website, whatever. So if you don't know their yes, tickets are free, but you do have to register in advance for safety purposes. Okay. Last couple things. As per some things I referred to in my Devar Torah, our tzedakah of the month this month has been raising money for our bathroom remodel, and the month is almost over. So if you haven't given yet this month, I encourage you to do that if you handle money on Shabbat. And then next month it will be for an environmental organization, I think Hazon, but I don't remember offhand which Jewish environmental organization we picked. If you are interested in helping start up the Rosh Chodesh group, let me know and I will connect you with Katie Simon, who is currently the head of it, but I could probably use some support. Yeah. You could suggest that. You could enforce a drumming circle.
Drumming circles now enforced for Rosh Chodesh. The registration for Passover Seder is active. It's on the National MVA site. Scroll pretty much all the way to the bottom and it's there. Just keep an eye on how you're registering, because the problem we had with registration was putting a cap, because we usually have a cap for families. So if it goes over a certain dollar limit, it's actually better for you to select the one that says family for 50. So yeah, the registration is active though.
Thank you. All right, our closing song will be in Callahan, page 626. In Callahan, in Kemalkenu, in Kamoshienu, Michaloheinu, Michadonenu, Michamalkenu, Michamoshienu, Nodel Eloheinu, Nodel Adonenu, Nodel Emalkenu, Nodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu, Atahu Adonenu, Atahu Malkeinu, Atahu Moshienu. Shabbat Shalom, please join us for Oneg and Kiddush in the hall.